Hey guys, welcome back to the live stream. It has been a while, so I want to get everyone updated on what's been going on in the shop, where I've been traveling, and all that good stuff. So let's hop on the computer over here, and this way we can get a more detailed update of what we're going to talk about in today's live stream. And essentially that is the updates. So we did I did two major events. One was the Florida Van Life Gathering. That was in Dade City, Florida. And then the next one was the Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo, which was last weekend, and that's in Stark, Florida. So we'll talk a little bit about that because that footage is not dropped yet, but we'll be doing that next week. And then the next one is the Cattle Herding Nomad shares his DIY camper van build. That video is also up right now. So if we hop on over to... Let me pull up here. So I want to go over the two videos and just give you a little commentary on what's going on. Daniel, how's it going? Go and do. Good to see you guys. I know it's been a while, so this will be a good update. And if you guys have been wanting to ask questions or anything like that, put it in the comments below. Definitely will answer that. I'm not sure how long this stream's going to go. We're going to go over these two events. So we'll go over the video from the van life. I'm going to do some commentary on it. Commentary on this cattle herding nomad. So that's Steven. That's his video of his camper. I think it really showcases a good point of view for real world scenario and using a van, not just kind of the glamorous stuff, but more utilitarian. And then we'll go over some shop projects and then update you on that Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo that I covered last weekend, which don't have footage for yet. I literally am editing it right now. Then hopefully we can get to some of the comments that are in the comments section. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan for today's video. Let me get back up here just a minute. So I'm going to go and pull up the Florida Van Life Gathering video. And yeah, so I'm just going to scrub through it and go through some footage here. There we go. Make sure the volume's off. Okay, so this was in Dade City, Florida, and it was with Lacucci River Park. All right, we got the guard dog taking care of the shop. All right, moving back to, with Lacucci River Park. And this was, it was an awesome event. So it's the inaugural event for the Florida Van Life Gathering. And for it to be a first event of its kind, I'm going to just go right here to the drone footage. And for this to be the first event of its kind, the first event in general, there was over 300 vans. So I think the last count when I talked to Josh was about 357 vans, something like that. Pretty wild for a first-time event like this. Every single van was completely different. There was all kinds of different layouts, all kinds of different builds. And for me as a filmmaker, DIYer, and doing this channel, it was actually kind of overwhelming. And I actually did not get all the interviews that I wanted to do. What I did was I focused on the vendor interviews. And we went through a bunch of different builds. Let's see here. So what I did is focus on the vendor interviews. That way next time, if there's any other vendors that I didn't catch, I can do that next time. But the bulk of it was to show you guys what kind of vendors are showing up to these events. because if you go to these events, you'll be able to camp and then, have conversations with all the van lifers that came to it. And so that is kind of reserved to next time, where I'll probably do a lot more interviews. I mean, you could do 30, 40 interviews with these vans. I mean, there was schoolies there, the school buses and stuff like that. But just focusing on the vendors, because I think this really shows what you can expect if you are looking to purchase a van. So let me skip. Skip over here. So 2 things about these shows that I think you can, that's really enjoyable, is you can go in 2 different directions. If you're a DIYer, you can talk to these professionals and kind of see what they built and then how they have the layouts. Most of their layouts are driven by what their customer wants. As much as I've talked to them, I've been looking for spec builds and stuff like that where stuff is pre-done. And mostly what I'm finding out is these vans are, built to spec from the customer, not necessarily the builder. Like Justin, for example, when I was asking him in this video about the layout, asking what drives it, what drives the different, countertops, the colors and stuff like that. He says it's mostly customer driven, and, if people want a fixed bed versus a shower, storage, additional seating, stuff like that. It's more customer driven. So you can fast forward to that part of this video. I'm just going to skip around a little bit more. This was Alex from Scala Conversions. He's out of Naples. And something that I really enjoyed about this tour was the simplicity of it and the layout. So I'm going to get in more technical detail than he did, because you guys can watch this, obviously. Maybe you already have. But this is a crew van from Ford. So it's a mid-roof Ford Transit, and it's a crew. So what that means is, imagine like you have like a landscaping company or something like that. This is the van you would buy because the back has a seat that can be removed, and it has 2 glass windows so that the occupants can see outside of the van. But the back of the van is completely cargo style. Now, it's kind of a hybrid between a passenger and a cargo, and you can kind of cheat with this van because the interior it does have somewhat of a interior system already in place. It's going to be that typical passenger van interior. However, instead of having all the seats in the van, it's just going to have a removable middle row. And that way, if you're a contractor and let's just say landscaper, say you have some guys in the back that are helping you with, mowing yards or something like that, you can have, your gear in the back, guys up front pulling a trailer, that sort of thing. But what Alex has done is he has taken advantage of that, where the interior is already done, the seats are already in place, and then he just kind of fitted up with, a bed and some other amenities to turn it into a conversion van. But what I like about it is, in a second, he's going to show you how the bed folds over the sink and makes really good use of the space. I like how he said in this video that, if you're going to Home Depot or you're buying a washer and dryer or something like that, you can take the seats out and you have a whole area to load stuff in. You can take it home, pop the seat back in, pick the kids up, that sort of thing. It's very utilitarian. Now, as far as the systems go, here, so he even has like a pull-out bed for a kid. That's really cool. Yeah, and I'm going kind of fast because I want to get through a lot of stuff. But if you guys have questions, definitely stop me in the comments and I'll pause and, talk more about something you have a question on. But other than that, I'm going to keep moving on. So see, very clean. Storage on the right-hand side. Flip it up. Got the sink right there. It's kind of hidden. Really nice. I like the hidden microwave. This is a great idea. As well as the cooktop stove. A lot of debate on what type of stoves are you going to use in a van build. Do you want a induction stove? Do you want gas? Do you want something portable induction or built-in? And you can really go two different ways. You can get really simple like this, which me personally, this is what I do when I go to all these events. I have a single burner stove. I've got a flip-up table that I pop up in the back. It's just nice because, the smells are not kept in the van. And you're probably going to cook in pretty decent weather. And you can have like a 10 by 10 tent that you pop up and cook under. So I would say that is that's the way I do it. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. Plus, keeps the clutter off the cabinets. Now, one thing he has down here in the bottom is this is a portable AC unit. And so the portable AC units, they are not that efficient. It's not something that I would necessarily recommend. It does kind of get the job done, but you really have to make sure that you're managing the exhaust. So essentially what you're doing is the way that these systems work is you are pulling the air from inside the vehicle. You are passing it over to cool it. And then that exhaust is kind of going, it needs to be going outside the van, almost like a dryer duct from, a washing, like a clothes dryer. And not only that, but this has to be an inverted power source. So you're going to need like an inverter that's at least 2,000, 3,000 watts to be able to run this, not only for it to kick on and start running, because there's a surge at the very beginning when these systems kick on. And but if you just want to run it for maybe 1 to 3 hours to take off the edge, I think this may be able to do the job for you. But understand, portable AC units, it's not like a magic wand. It's not really going to do what you think it is. It will take the edge off, but only that, I would say. But Daniel, yeah, this would be a great weekend travel setup. I mean, that's what I do with my van. If I go meet up with my friends, usually I'm the one always cooking, so I take the van. I can make my coffee. I can keep the refrigerator running for 2 days. And that's kind of how I use it. But again, yes, this would be a perfect, like a weekend getaway type of van. And what's nice about this layout is these components are very, very budget friendly. So not so much the AC, but if you notice, he has Renogy components. There's removable seat. So let's go in here. Let me fast forward. Okay. So on the right-hand side, we have we've got Renogy components. So we've got, let's see, this box. So right here is just a battery monitor from Renogy. I've had it in my van for almost 5 years. 0 problems. Very simple. I know Renogy is not a Victron component, but sometimes, simpler is better. This thing hasn't ever failed. Up top, there's a Chinese diesel heater. So those are off of Amazon, extremely cheap. And I've had mine again, almost 5 years, no problem. I've run it all night, keeps me nice and warm. And then we have a MaxxFan remote control over here. So very simple components, nothing complex, and simple helps with budget. So if you're worried about budget, going simple, you can still have fun on the weekends. And that's what intrigues me about this build is everything he's done is it's very simple, and it makes van life achievable for some people that some may feel like it's out of reach. So let me fast forward a little bit. And then in the back, he's just got the tank for the diesel heater. I've been asked a lot of questions about, do you smell the diesel from the tank? And the answer is no. Most of those tanks, I've not been able to smell it in my van, and it's right beside my bed. It can be scary to think that a fuel tank is in your van, but as long as it's diesel, diesel is not as volatile as gasoline, pretty far from it. So an explosion is not going to happen. It's more of a slow burn. So maybe that gives you guys some peace of mind if you're kind of on the fence about getting a diesel heater and having a tank inside your van. And then he goes really simple RV, wash down shower. That's actually the back of the fridge. And I know it might not look nice, but remember, if it can stay ventilated, have that air circulation behind it to, cool the coils, that only helps extend the life of it, makes it operate more efficient. He does have a 2,000 watt inverter, so that must be enough for the that AC unit to run. A little storage area on the back left, fire extinguisher, and then he's got the bug net on the back. So yeah, very, very simple setup. Right there on the right, you can see that is where you can see the level of the fuel in the diesel tank. And just really, really clean. But look deep in here. If you look right here, Ford is giving you this interior ceiling area. So that is stuff that you're not having to DIY. It's already in the van. And then it looks like he just, covers some wood with some nice like sill vinyl and just made a simple setup. But I wanted to go through that one because I like the simple setups. As technical as I am, I think they're cool. Now, this is Shelby. She's from Modern Times Van Co. And this is another example of how to get into van life on a budget. It's not really the intention of this video. I was trying to update you guys, but while we're just talking about it, this Sprinter van, I think, has like 150,000 miles on it. It is not new at all, but they've cleaned up the back and put a build-in. It even has a shower, tons of storage, and it's all wood construction. There really wasn't any 80/20 to be seen, which is, it's okay. But if you're looking for this homey aesthetic and you're on a budget, just because the van's old doesn't mean you can't build out a nice build in the back. These used vans, they're meant for expediting deliveries. So they're pretty tough. And this is a dinette layout. A lot of people like this because it just feels homey. You can have tons of storage underneath there. So see, they got the water tank. Now they weren't completely finished with this, but they brought it to the show anyway. And then right here, simple power system, battery, inverter. They only had 200 amp hours, but they're using the Renogy. I think it's like a 50 amp. This is both the MPPT and a solar charge controller built in together. So, consolidates on space, but very simple. You got a breaker for the inverter, breaker for the incoming power headed over to the fuse panel. Nice and easy, nothing overwhelming to troubleshoot if you're just a first timer. And they did a really good job on the slatted ceiling. And I thought this was the like the Heki Dometic skylight, but this is actually from eBay. So it's so wild what you find with different different builders. And like I said, as much as I want to talk about the technical side of vans and getting on the real engineering side and techie side, something about this event brought out more of the DIYer. And I really enjoyed that. So much so that there was a video. I'm going to show here. Let me pause this when I'm at 29:12. So this right here, this one that says, "This is my story." We're going to go over this one. And this one is kind of the inspiration of that conversation I'm just having with you guys about budget DIY builds. Let's see, where was I? So I want to talk about that Steven video here in just a minute. Let's crank through these real quick. So this is Peter with Rover Vans. I actually met him last year in Chattanooga at the Adventure Van Expo. And he has this company that he represents or sells products for, and that is Vandermoon. So I wanted to pause here and talk about that, because the van behind me, this one right here, this one is going to be, this is the van that we are going to get back to. We've just been traveling a lot, and it goes on the priority list next week. But because we've taken some time on it, going to all these shows has kind of, got my brain thinking about working with certain individuals with certain access to products, the way that those products look, and how I want my line of vans to look for my business Odyssey custom vans. And I really love like the European style vans, and the components they use. They're a little bit classier. The stuff doesn't look as cheap, kind of, not knocking on Winnebago, but it's, the components in those vans are just, they are what they are, and I like these type of products. So right here, this is Peter, Rover Vans, and he's going to show us this product right here. It's called the Moonbox, and I'm going to show you this product. So this company is over in Poland, and if you go here, this part will be in English, but the rest, as you can see, will be in Polish. But this Moonbox is, as you guys know, I love adventure wagon components. But when I see something that is more aesthetically pleasing to me, has better options for customers, and the quality is a little bit better, that's something that I want to provide. So if we go to Adventure Wagon, if you go to Adventure Wagon's website, they have something called mule bags, and you've seen me talk about this many times. But the mule bags, they're great. I mean, look at them. They're simple. They're soft, as far as, not bumping your head on them or anything like that. But, there's things that can be improved on in a bag like this. One is aesthetics. Two is like the way that it opens. So if you notice here, when Peter goes to open this bag, not only do you have like configurable pockets on the outside that can expand, and clips for keys and stuff like that, but just kind of so right here, when he opens the bag up, it comes down, and then you have these zippered pockets, and I really, really like that. It just makes so much sense. So you can access the stuff up top, have like toiletries and stuff like that in the bottom. the design is really nice. And the coolest thing is he's made these custom brackets up top so that this can bolt into an Adventure Wagon system. So I'll pause here, and if you notice, this is an Adventure Wagon interior that he has installed in the Sprinter. So it's the same, one that's in my Ford Transit as far as the spacing goes for these L-track rails. And so I want to have 3 of these in the van behind me. Then that way I can actually do a product review on this and show you guys, here on the live stream what I really like about them when I do get them in. Now, if we continue, let me back up here. So that's Vandermoon. That's just the boxes. Well, I didn't know that they also have organizers. So organizers have basically been made for the Sprinter market. And these backdoor organizers, they're really handy because you can access them from the bed or outside, and you can actually have it in 3 different locations. So if we look, so right here, if you guys look at this video, up top there's like a panel, there's a middle panel, and then there's a bottom panel. And currently they're only available for the Sprinter, but they're trying to come out with these for the Transit. And I'm crossing my fingers that this month will be the month where maybe I can get my hands on some. But if you notice, you can have like your, let's say, recovery stuff at the bottom, or if you're not doing super off-road, you have your power connection plug for your shore power. You've got your spray down. You've got all kinds of knickknacks here. The upper panel, if you don't have glass or you do have glass, doesn't really matter. That can be where you put your cell phone to charge. You can, put a book that you're reading or something like that. And you can use it while the door's shut inside the van. And then up top, maybe you have like, I don't know what you have up top. There's a place for more storage. So I really like these. And I mean, I'm really digging in the industry to find products like this. And so going to these shows, obviously it's really good for content for the channel to showcase them, but as a builder, I'm literally trying to find stuff that I am comfortable with recommending to a client for their van. And even though I can pretty much build anything that's in my head, when you get to the business section of it, if a customer wants something or a build date to be finished, it's good to have relationships and products that you can actually pull from, to make the build happen. And then stuff that that's quality, design-wise, colors that match, stuff like that. So you can really put together a big build. Because what I've learned just from building Thomas's van is, once you hit the budget and the budget is spent, that is the components you have with you for the duration of the build. So you have to understand that down the line, more stuff is going to be innovated, more products are going to be available. So if you get the stuff that is good quality at the time of building your van, it's going to be able to stay there with you throughout your build. Whereas if you kind of cut corners, you've already spent that. So what I mean by my point is, up front, if you can buy components up front that are quality, you're making a better use of your budget, if that makes sense. Check out the comments. What is my opinion of the in-floor, underfloor hidden shower? So I am doing an in-floor, underfloor hidden shower in this van. Now, here's the challenges with that. So one, I think it's a good opinion. I think it's really good to have the in-floor shower. The reason I say that is a shower stall, it just takes up way too much room. It's just, I've gone through, I don't know how many different sketches on this van, and it just, the math doesn't work out to utilize that space for that, because, the fridge footprint needs to be there, and or like a drawer for a cassette toilet to be put in, or a sink. You really just, especially in a 148, there's really not too many places that you can fit. So the in-floor shower, I think, is a good idea. Now, what I'm going to do is the in-floor shower is going to be in the middle of the van. Okay, let me pause on location. The one thing to take into account is, how are you going to take a shower? Two schools of thought on this. Everybody knows how to take a shower, but the water, how do you feel comfortable getting rid of that water? For me personally, I don't think it's a big deal to take a shower with some biodegradable soap and have it, go on the ground. You're going to do that if you do an outdoor shower at the back of your van anyway, but I know that bothers some people where, one, they can't actually dump it because they're at a park, which is understandable, or two, maybe they just, don't feel comfortable dumping it in the wild. But to be honest, you're going to take a shower at the back of your van. It's really no different. You're just inside your van taking a shower. So I know it's going to be very controversial. That's just my opinion. The only way to circumvent that is, now you're having to think of, okay, I'm taking a shower, but now I'm going to start measuring my water usage, gallons per minute, versus my gray tank that is going to hold the used shower water. Not only am I going to use a gray tank to hold the shower water, but I need to only devote that tank to the shower water and have my gray tank for my washing my hands and dishes separate. That's what I'm going to do with this van. So I have this tank right here. So this tank was purchased off of Amazon. In the future, when we get to installing this, I'll tell you where I found it. But this tank fits on this side of the van. So the gas tank is right in the middle of the van on a Ford. So right across from the drive shaft is the gas tank. And then there's a little area over to the driver's side that is this width right here. So this width and this length, this is the max gray tank that you can put in for ground clearance. So yes, you can be like, nothing against Travato owners, but all those components in a Travato they're like 3 inches from scraping the ground. So the reason I chose this is this goes in between the unibody, and it gives you maximum ground clearance. So this height, although it limits your gallons that you can have for a gray water tank, what it does do is it allows you to maintain 100% of the clearance that you had prior to the tank, which is something everybody has to sacrifice when they put a water tank under their van. Okay, so this tank is 20 gallons. I think it's a 20-gallon tank. Yeah, it's the permanent wet bath. It is difficult. Now I will say, if you have a 170 versus a 148, there is room for that. But if you are going to make a shower, definitely double down on it. Make it a wet bath with a cassette toilet, with the ability to pipe in hot air from the diesel heater to make it a drying room for ski gear, surfboards. If you're going to use that space, really use it. Maybe do kind of what Winnebago does, where they have like shelving built into the wall to where you can put like bamboo shelves and you can use it as a storage closet. I mean, really make it a multi-use space if you're deciding on doing that. But you can do that with a 170. It's very typical. But if you have a 148 and you're trying to keep a small footprint just for driving wise, I think to go and do his question, the underfloor hidden shower, I think it's good. Now I'm going to show you how I do it, because remember, the location of the shower is going to be either easy install or painful. The original location where I was going to put this in-floor shower, I'd have to drop the gas tank, which for me, not a big deal. For some people, that's terrifying. I think I need to move the gas tank anyway, because I need to access some locations for the fold-up seat. But if I drop it, obviously I'll make a video on that. But I actually want to have a special fitting for the Webasto heater that is a Ford part that clips onto the Ford factory auxiliary fuel port, so that everything's Ford as far as the fuel going to the gasoline heater or gas-fired heater. But when you're putting that shower in your floor, remember, you don't want to put it in a place where you may accidentally drill into the drive shaft, drill into the fuel tank, hopefully no electrical. And plan all this out before you start putting the floor in. So kind of going forward, when I do this van and we get into live streams and some video on it, you'll see that the floor, all the holes and stuff are cut before any insulation or anything goes down. Everything is already going to be pre-cut, rust preventative, all that stuff. And then we'll get into installing the floor, because once you have the floor in, it's even more difficult to locate where you're drilling things, because at least with the floor out of a van, you can count the ribs, the corrugations, and you can reference off of those so that you can visually see, 1, 2, 3, okay, drill. Whereas if you put the floor in quickly, I mean, you're almost guessing, even though you're measuring. So I know that was a long answer, but I think you guys know that makes sense. So back to the video. The ones for the Ford Transit that he's making are going to be, not Peter, the company Vandermoon that makes these. I think it's a one piece possibly, or it might be broken into 3. But this, I don't think the Transit has this top section. I'm not sure. I'm gonna talk to him in a week or so, and we'll kind of go from there and figure that out. Power systems. So one thing I want to do is going forward. Now this is my Van Builder hat on right now. Is really trying to systematize these power boxes, making them a little bit more simpler than a lot of stuff that I see. Now, what Peter has here, there's nothing wrong with it. This is an amazing system. It's all Victron components. Excellent system. But as you guys, if you're a DIYer, you understand that, it's very expensive to have, blue Victron components in your van. And so what I like to showcase to you guys when I'm building the power system for this next van is keeping stuff simple. As simple as possible. Because regardless if you can, again, this is my Van Builder hat on, call me, text me, email me. If you are hundreds of miles away and you need to reset something or something like that, the simpler the system, more robust the system, the easier it is for you to be able to troubleshoot that. And it's going to feel good that you have the ability to fix your own van. Not that it would be broken, but things happen. So Peter in this van has the Flatline Vanco bed system, and I purchased that for this van behind me. The Adventure Wagon system, the Moab bed, I can't. The price of it is it is well engineered. Don't get me wrong. The price is just it's hard to swallow for a bed. I think so if you go to products, you go to Moab Traverse Elevator Bed, starting at $3,250. And then you need to get the mattress. So $3,250, $33, $30. You're looking at $4,300 for a bed. And some budgets it's they want the brand and they want what goes with it, but thankfully Flatline Vanco has a system that's almost half the price. So that's what I went with. So this is what it looks like, and it's removable. There's 3 panels, and there's 3 bolts on one side, 3 bolts on the other. And the panels come out. They are pretty heavy, but they're heavy because they need to be. They're rolled on the edges to create that structural stability for it to be able to hold you up. So they're a little heavy, but they can be moved completely out of the way, which is what I like, so that you can actually use the van for other purposes. Let's come back here to the front. If you notice, Peter has a seat. And one thing that's a trend that I'm starting to follow as I do all these interviews and look at all this stuff is there's certain things that are starting to come out in the industry out of a use case. And that is, now this is just my opinion from where I've been, but people want a van to go travel, have fun, but they want to either bring their kids with them or friends with them. Now, the kids or the friends, it could be teenagers or whatever, they don't necessarily have to sleep in the van, but to travel together, maybe they're sleeping in a tent outside, that sort of thing. Having 2 extra seats in a van is just, it makes so much sense. So instead of having a little bench with no seat belts, that's additional seating for eating, it makes more sense just to have an actual dedicated seat. Now, the issue with this seat here is that it's permanent. It's not a flip and fold seat. So the van behind me will have a flip and fold seat, and Friedman seating, that is what I'm using for the seat in that van. This one actually has some Schulman seats. These are extremely nice, especially if you're going on long trips. But anyway, so having that really makes a difference. So if you have the seats, the other thing was air conditioning. So in the back here, you can see there's an RTX 2000, Dometic RTX 2000. So this has AC. So now we have the seat, we have the AC, and then we're going to have the power system. I'm sorry, seat, AC, and shower. So Go and Do was talking about the underfloor hidden shower. If you have those 3 things, I think that is an excellent way to kick off. I mean, that is like the 3 requirements right now of an adventure van, in my opinion. Additional seating, air conditioning, and really substantial power. All right, keep on moving here. We've got, so here's some more of the components, like them. Then he also has the insulation or the insulated window covers. All right. So as far as the event goes, this was fun. So these are all the guys and myself, and we are getting ready to judge the vans. So we got our clipboards, and we are judging vans for the event. So if you guys saw in the video earlier, there were multiple rows of vans. There's 2 awards. There's best in row, and I think there's best in show. I think that was the 2. I know best in row was one of them. So that, because I was judging best in row. So you have a row of vans, go through. I really liked the judging process. It was difficult because you had vans that had so much character, had an amazing story, but the quality wasn't there. Then you had vans that you knew that they were up all night, really dialing in the quality. And I'm a big quality person, so I went with a more quality van, and it was hard. It was very hard to judge, but it was fun. So after the judging was complete, moved into interviewing more van builders. So this is Marion. She's with Live More Camper Vans. So not only did I meet them at this event, but last weekend I met them, hung out with them again at the Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo. And super fun. So their vans are very nice. They're very, very homey. So if you come in, it's gonna feel just like a home. Very comfortable. You got the shiplap walls, really nice, warm, stained wood. This one even has like a little doggy door at the bottom. Hidden toilet system, more storage. This one is a multi-use cabinet, so it can be a pantry, it can be wet bath. She even says some people use it, make it into like a home office for doing work on the road, remote work. Then we talked about, the kitchen. So huge area to do meal prep. A lot of people like the kitchen on this side because you can look out. You can also exchange the fresh and gray water. Pretty easy, right by the door. So that is the same layout that I'm doing in the van behind me. Or pretty close. Electrical components, nice organized on the wall. But again, you see, it's just a very bright but warm feeling for this van. Pretty nice. Yep, and this one even had the RTX 2000. Then if we go to the back, this is where we're going to have just additional storage. We're going to have the power system. We'll have the water heater, stuff like that. Again, nice and simple. So this is Alyssa. She was the one heading up the Southeast Overland Event Expo. That name gets me every time. Anyway, so this is her introducing me to the event, and then we went through her vehicle, which is pretty cool. And this is the type of vehicles that were at this show. Is 95% overlanding. There was only about 3 or 4 vans there, but it's really cool. So when this video does come out and you guys get to see it, you're going to see a lot of really cool products, a lot of gadgets, stuff like that. And it's stuff that you can use in your adventure van. It doesn't have to be, just because it's an overlanding event doesn't mean you can't use it for your van. A lot of multiple uses. Anyway, so this is her 4Runner. All right, so we sit down. We were talking about it. I was trying to be an instructor to teach a course there, but this timeline didn't pan out, and they pretty much already had a list before I came in, so I was fine with just going there to film and get some good content. All right, let's get really quickly through here. Time is flying on this live stream. It's almost an hour. I think my live streams are usually an hour anyway. Met somebody with a motorcycle. That was pretty cool. Big schoolie. I will get this next time, guys. I know I missed out on that awesome tour. This guy's van was just story and really cool character for days. I mean, this was a really cool story. Definitely check out this video to get the to go through and check out the full story about his van. I mean, look at that. That is a story. That's so cool. And then I wanted to hop on over here to this next tour. Yep, Derek. So this is Derek's van. It's cool. I parked by Derek at the event last week. He actually was there as well, the Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo. And he did this epoxy work on his kitchen. That's what he does. And I've seen a lot of epoxy art, but this one is simply amazing. I mean, you can get really, really close up to it. His van just feels, it's like you walk into a vacation. That's the best way I can explain this build. It is so comfortable in this van. It's just the breeze coming through, the way these epoxy panels are, very, very nice. He's got a Victron set up in here. I mean, look at this, the sink he found. Yeah, amazing. He's got a pneumatic cooling AC unit. So he has the issue I have where there's not enough room for more batteries. He's kind of used up his space pretty well. But as far as, let me back up here. Got a place for his cat. But yeah, just really nice. Inside here, we got, Victron system, got a Multi-Plus 2000, all the wiring. And then, oh yeah, look at this. Super nice. He's got a place for a hammock. And then walkable deck on top. Got 200 watts of solar. And just awesome. And yeah, that was pretty much my event. I just went through, cleaned all my stuff up. Got some really good drone shots earlier in the event. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this event next year. Next video I wanted to quickly talk about was this video from Steven. I'm just going to briefly talk about the beginning here, and then I'll let you guys watch it. But what he says here in the beginning, I'm going to play it, and I think it will come through. Well, I'm not sure. So anyway, what he's talking about here is he put his definition of what doing van life is so accurate. And it was just right at the end of our video. And it just encapsulated exactly what van life is. Not talking about how you don't need a fancy Sprinter van to do van life. If you got some simple items, phone charger, stuff like that, nice vent fan or something like that in a bed, you're doing van life. So watch this video. He's got a really cool story as far as what he uses his van for. He does cattle herding. He's a professional hiking guide up in the Sierras. He's a, builder, handyman, kind of a jack of all trades, just cool dude. And not only that, he was at Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo, and we got to hang out on the second day and grab some lunch, and it was awesome. Good to see him again. But yeah, definitely watch this video. The story is really cool about how he designed his van. Yeah, the reasons for how he had everything laid out as well. All right, back here. We talked about these two things. We are going to move to the shop projects to kind of wrap up this video. Let's see. We got a question really quick. Jigsaw blades. All right, let me grab them. All right, here we go. So go and do. I've gone through 8 blades for one window. All right, so I'll show you this real quick and keep asking me questions, but I use the Bosch T-Shank metal very thin. Metal very, very thin. This is at Lowe's. This is what I use. Sure, going through a lot of blades. Let's see. I'm trying to think why you would be going through. So one thing you want to do is you want to let the blade do the work. You don't want to force the blade forward because you're going to heat the blade up and it's going to get so hot that it literally is, I don't want to say necessarily melting, but it's taking this cutting edge off and it's basically like you're cutting with a blade with no teeth. So that may be like if you're pushing it, you want to let it kind of eat through the metal on its own, if that makes sense. Yeah, and you want to use something like Bosch at a minimum. I wouldn't don't get any non-name brand, blades that have like white paint on them type of thing. You want to make sure they're for metal. Don't get wood. So this one says wood. See, the metal seems thicker the more forward in the van. The smaller window in the back was like butter. Okay, so in the vans through the manufacturing process, there is multiple different types of metal used in the van. Van for the roof is going to be super flimsy. Van for the different structural points of the van is literally going to be a completely different makeup of metal. And it can, it's going to eat your blades up. And that might be just kind of going with the territory because there are certain places where I had to drill into the Ford van into a certain type of metal that was the structural frame for the van. And I had to buy a drill bit that literally cost $60 a piece. It was a full carbide drill bit, not carbide tipped, full carbide bit to get through that. And it only lasted me probably one install. This metal seems thicker, but do you have a Ford? I'm pretty sure you had a Ford. You had a Ford Transit, not a Sprinter. So the thicker, the more Ford. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab a piece of metal. Give me 1 second. Okay. So is this what you're cutting through that is destroying your bits? So this part right here, these are structural. This is a structural member for the windows cutouts. This right here, I don't cut out with a jigsaw. I cut this out with a cutting disc. So I go through here and I make 3 cuts, 1, 2, and 3. And I cut this out first. Then I cut the actual sheet metal, the outer sheet metal of the van. Because this stuff this may be what's eating your blades up. The hard part about this is that you don't want to cut through. When you cut this out, it's hard. You don't want to cut through to the outside of the van. You just want to cut this off. Okay, so check it out. So right here, if you go to videos and you go to Ford Transit sliding door T-vent. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. I got you. Go to here. And you're going to go. Okay, so here is, okay, I already have a video on this. It's Ford Transit sliding door T-vent window install. So as you can see, behind there, this is the piece, okay, that I cut out. And so what I did is, after I found out how I was going to do it on the front, I come back and I have this Milwaukee grinder. And let's see if I can get a better. Come on, where are you? I know that's hard to see, but this grinder. Okay, here's the grinder. This is what you want. Right here. You'll see this? This thing is what I use. So, see? There's a reason that it's this small. It's so that you don't have this big whole huge grinding disc, whatever. And not only is this, the reason I like this one is it goes forward and then it goes reverse. So you can switch the direction, which is really important because if you're going to the top, maybe you want it one direction. And if you're on the bottom, maybe you want it in a different direction. But yeah, this is the exact reason I need that affiliate store up. So you guys can click on this and grab it off of Amazon. But try this. I know you probably don't want to buy something like this, but the good news is they're M12 line, so you can use this. You can buy a drill. I mean, you can use this for multiple things. I don't think this was too bad price-wise, but check out this video. And I think it'll help. It'll show you what I did before I actually started cutting. And then here, I'm using that very thin, where is it? Yeah, right there. So I'm using that very thin blade, and I'm cutting this secondary. Use lots of tape. Use lots of tape so you don't scratch stuff up. Okay, so that's what I did. Perfect. Hopefully that helped. Next. All right. Excellent question. Thank you for asking that question. All right, let's talk about, okay, we talked about the spec build update. Oh no, let's talk about it. That's why it's on this list. Spec build update. So, if you guys have seen the Winnebago Adventure Wagon partnership, looks something like this. So what Winnebago has done is they've taken a Sprinter and they've installed a Adventure Wagon kit into the van. They've given you a little, this is not a kitchen galley because there's no sink. They give you like a little pop-up sink. It's very sparse. See that? Very sparse. Their website, it's not doing too good. Come on. So see, they give you a little pop-up sink, little. I mean, it looks kind of cool. The problem everyone has with this one, comment-wise, is the price is very high. So as you see, there is no shower. There is no battery system. There's a portable battery system. There is no toilet. There's a portable toilet. There's not a fridge. There's just a portable fridge. There's not even any seats. There's just one bed. And although it says it starts at $153,000, this van at the shows spec'd out is $170,000. Don't quote me on that. That is what I've heard from YouTube videos. I wasn't physically at the event, but that is what they say that the price is on the sticker is $170,000. And to be honest, the Sprinter and just the Adventure Wagon with nothing else, I think that is high, and I think that's why a lot of people are kind of wondering why it's kind of so sparse for such the price. On the flip side of that, I think this is a great place to start for a DIYer that's wanting a higher end finish as a DIYer. And not only higher end finish, but something that they can put motorcycles in. They can put a whole group of mountain bikes in. Maybe they actually have some type of mountain biking tour guide or something where they want to be able to safely attach a bunch of items to the interior of the van and take it on that trip. So I do think it is a good blank canvas. However, for what's included, so this is their, let me zoom in here. This is their PDF brochure. And so it shows you what, I guess this is what, that's what I've been confused with the YouTube videos is what is actually included. I saw one that was empty, and then I saw one with these bags and stuff in there. So you get one additional seat. So that's 3 people. Kind of confusing. It's just kind of confusing because it's as if the Adventure Wagon products are kind of just displayed in here, almost like a store. It doesn't really have a rhyme or reason as far as layout. But it's hard for me to say that because the van behind me, that is what I want to do with this one. However, it's I have the same concept as far as what I'm going to do with this van behind me, but I'm going to improve on, what I've seen in the industry by creating City Life Planet Fitness. That's funny. But when I do this build here, you guys will see, it'll have a working kitchen galley. It'll have a significant 600 amp hours of lithium for the air conditioner. It will have an air conditioner. It will have windows. So this van, there's no windows except for the back windows. There's no air conditioning system. There's no fixed sink. There's no gray water. There's no passenger driver side window for the back. There's just the vent windows in the back. It just has a vent fan. And that's kind of crazy that that's all it has for such a high price. What it is not bad. It's I think what it's featured as, price wise. Because I love the Adventure Wagon. It's very safe. It's a very safe system that you can bolt things into. However, they need to significantly upgrade this kitchen galley. I would not go with a cooler style fridge. I'd have something a little bit more, permanent, so that, because remember, you can take this whole entire bed system out and you'll have a ton of room. They want this to be to where you can take everything out of the van, but I don't know if that's what a lot of people would enjoy. I think people want the modularity to be in the van, but as far as the usable items in the van, I'd like this to be more user friendly. For example, this kitchen galley I keep talking about, there's no gray water tank in here. It's literally a water tank with a pump that pumps into a plastic basin that you have to take outside the van and dump. It's pretty wild. I don't know. It's an outdoor kitchen that's bolted inside the van is what it is. It's kind of weird. Yeah. So I'm excited to show you what my interpretation of this is when I build the van behind me. Okay, moving on. So as we get further into the build process with the van behind me, you guys can expect an Adventure Wagon install review. So a review of the Adventure Wagon finally being installed. We can walk around real quick, talk about what was hard, what was easy, and see the overall finish of what you get in the kit before I begin putting in the floor system and the additional components. We'll have a new video out coming soon from the Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo. So this is what we went to, and just a little video here of what they have at the event. Now, this is really, really cool. So this event, they started off with, I think, like 18 vendors and 100 overlanders. This year, there were 85 vendors and 500 overlanders or campers, people at the event. I mean, not just people, vehicles. 500. That's Jeeps, 4Runners, vans. Incredible. So it was a really cool, fun event. What's really awesome about this event is there is obstacle courses. So you got this really rugged obstacle course if you're into overlanding. There's also a back course that is in the back of the property that you guys can go on. Royal Enfield was there. So that was a motorcycle. That's a motorcycle brand. They brought their demo trailer. I got to ride Royal Enfield Himalayan. You guys know I'm into ADV riding. This is my baby over here. 99 KLR 650. But it was an awesome event. It's very fun. Tons of vendors. There's 85 vendors, all kinds of really cool gadgets, gear that you can use for van life as well. It was pretty cool. This is a very family-friendly event. There were tons of kids there. There were just people, relaxing. People bring their friends. It was, and there's so much space there. If there were 1,500 people here or vehicles, I almost think there would be enough room. Because 500 vehicles, there was definitely enough room. Anyway, if you want to have a overland experience with your van, check out this event next year. But I have a video just like I did for the Florida Van Life Gathering that I'm going to be putting together for this event. That way you can get my perspective of the event and what I really enjoyed about it. All right, getting ready to end this. Let's see here. New video next week. Okay, comment section. So let me really quick just hop on over here. If there's something, this is exactly why I'm building my own. Yeah, way less expensive. Okay, so go and do. I hope you're talking about that Winnebago because I agree with you. That is a high price. And you really can get the same experience. I mean, if you got a Mercedes that was, had a couple thousand miles on it, and you bought the Adventure Wagon kit, I mean, you're really getting the same experience. Let's go to comments. Let's see here. Oh, Go and Do. I just saw your comment right here. Perfect. Yep. I'll reply to that with what I told you in this video. Yeah, definitely use that very thin metal. And it's okay to go through blades. Just don't force it. I mean, it might be expensive going through blades, but definitely don't force it. The last thing you want to do is have like a blade break off. Make sure you're wearing eye protection, all the good stuff, because, just take your time. Be safe for sure. Sheet metal is very dangerous. If you worked with it, you're always going to get cut up. I do as well. I'm just going through here really quick. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if I can look at this, go through this window without showing you my dashboard. There you go. That's okay. There you go. Okay. Yeah, I know that's hard to see. There you go. This is in no order. I'm just going through here. So Scott, you said, hey Nick, loads of vids you're putting together. I am installing the exact same Adventure Wagon kit in my Ford Transit extended van. I'm also building my floor system. Floor will be 2 1/8 inch thick, with including the vinyl. You touched on the fact that the lower panel would need to be cut to sit on the floor, but you never finished the Adventure Wagon series. I know that. We will be getting into, yes, I'm planning on finishing the Adventure Wagon install. And I'm going to show you how to cut those trim pieces. So essentially, I'm going to give you a quick answer right now before I do the video. Those the wall trim pieces, what you want to do is you want those all removed, then install your floor. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the maximum height, or where the top of the floor is. You're going to take the top of the floor, put a tape measure, and you're going to measure from the top of the floor up to the L-track channel. And then there's going to be a gap. It's either going to be 1/4 inch or less. And that's the lip that's holding the panel on. If your floor is going under, you want it to be underneath that Adventure Wagon panel, then all you're going to do is add that gap to where it holds the panel at the top, and your panel is going to sit on the floor. Now, I have not figured out how I'm going to do this yet, but the panel now needs some type of like a toe kick or some corner mold or like quarter round for it to be able to stay in place. Visually, I don't know how I want to do that yet. So hopefully in the next month, I know this was a month ago that you asked that question, but hopefully I can get you a better answer as far as a visual, more aesthetic way to finish it. Because if you have the panel on top of the floor, it's going to be okay, but the Adventure Wagon panels can move because they're only supported on 3 sides, not 4. So that would be the only thing that I would need to figure out what to give you advice on. But thank you for that question. Nice tip about holding of the A-frame pieces with a hush mat. Only thing I would do different, I would drill out the holes before install installing the hush mat and install to prevent, trapping metal. That's true. That's true. So he's just talking about keeping sticky stuff away so you can still vacuum and blow out the filings before you put those in. So Bruce is talking about with the Revel upgrading the system so that he can run the AC all night. So that's going to be really challenging because you're going to need a minimum of usually about 6. It's going to be even more challenging because the AC on a Revel is ran off of DC or 120 volt AC power from like shore power. It is inverted, but as you guys know, it doesn't only last but maybe 3 or 4 hours. That's not all night. I don't have an answer to that question right now. I'm going to be installing an RTX 2000 on this van, so stick with me and maybe I can answer you with what power system I'm putting in the van behind me. That was a very nice comment. One of the best reviews in the entire universe. That was the Adventure Van Expo, Redmond, Oregon. That video is kicking butt. I really enjoyed doing that. So hopefully I get to do that again. And a bunch of these are just older comments. So, I'm going to go look at my tabs really quick. I'm going to stay on here for about 2 minutes. So if you guys have a question, go ahead and ask that while I'm closing these windows on my computer. And but that's pretty much going to be it for this live stream today. So I'm going to close these windows, put any remaining questions in the comments, and hopefully I can get to them. If not, we'll do another live stream next week when we really get back into the flow of things. Yeah, but I think we've gone ahead. I think we got everything. All right, guys, while you are asking those questions in the comments, be sure to check out Van Builder HQ. That is our blog. And we are, this is where all of our content as far as more detailed breakdown of examples such as 16 amazing camper van lighting ideas, where we go through and talk about recessed lighting, strip lighting, all this type of stuff, with links as well to certain products, clever storage hacks, how to sanitize camper van water tanks. Those are just a few. We got more on the way, but this will be a dedicated place where you guys can go and read more thoroughly through stuff that we cover. This is also like to shout out Odyssey Custom Vans. This is my van conversion business. So this is the business that shows you or brings you these vans to work on so that we can share the content, teach you guys how to do your DIY build. And but if you're not doing a DIY build and you enjoy this content, but you're looking for a professional van builder, I'd love for you to come on over to odysseycustomvans.com. Come on over to the website, click on the contact tab, and on the contact form, first name, last name, email, phone number. And then in the message box, tell me your story about why you're wanting to do a professional van build, where you want to go, and what got you excited about starting this journey of a build process. I'd love to get in contact with you and see what we can put together as far as the build goes. But other than that, guys, I don't see any more questions in the comments. So thanks so much for sticking with me to the end of this live stream. If you have any questions after the stream is over, put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them in a future video. And check out next week. We got those videos coming through of the Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo, as well as more content from the shop. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next live stream.